Hello, algebra. Today's lesson, we're still working on equations, but this is the second day of equations, and we're going to focus on two-step equations. Let's look at the next right-hand side page, page 17. And start with example A. Now, from a previous lesson, I said you should do two things. What's being done to the variable? Ask yourself that. And then work backwards with inverse operations. So in example A, I have 3x plus 2 equals 20. The first thing being done to x is multiply by 3 and then add 2. Since the last thing being done to x is adding 2, I'm going to work backwards from there. The inverse is to subtract 2 on both sides of the equation. We have 3x remaining on the left and 18 on the right. Then what's still done to x? Still multiply by 3. So we would divide by 3 on both sides. Don't forget to use the fraction bar for division. And then continuing to work down, x equals 6 is our final solution. Let's look at another example. Example B. 2/5 x minus 5 equals 7. So again, what's done to x? Multiply by 2/5 and then subtract 5. Since the last thing is subtracting 5, I'm going to work backwards from there. The inverse of subtracting is, of course, adding, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. 2/5 x remains on the left and 12 on the right because we're working down. Now, remember, if you have a fraction coefficient, you'll multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. This way, the values can cancel. I have x remaining on the left, and on the right-hand side, I can simplify right now or multiply and then simplify later. I'm going to just go ahead and multiply because they're fairly small numbers. 12 times 5 is 60, 1 times 2 is 2. Remember, we multiply straight across, and now I can simplify because 60 divided by 2 is 30, and my whole solution is x equals 30. One more example like this. I have the equation example C, 10 minus 2/3 x equals 52. What's being done to x? Well, the first thing is multiply by negative 2/3. Remember the signs on the left. And then add 10. I know it's adding 10 because this is a positive 10. Therefore, the inverse is to a negative or subtract 10. Remember, negative and minus are the same thing. So on the left, what remains is negative 2/3 x. Don't forget the sign stays with it. And on the right, we would subtract 10. Now, fraction coefficient again, multiply by the reciprocal. Don't forget that the negative stays in the numerator. And I simplified first this time since they were larger numbers. And my final solution is x equals negative 63. And our final solution, our final example, example D, this is set up a little differently because the last thing being done is not adding or subtracting. X minus 4 divided by 5. Work backwards, I would multiply both sides by 5, and I get x minus 4 equals 60 because the 5's cancel. Then add 4, and our final answer is x equals 64.